Hello chess buddies, welcome to Amateur Chess University. Today we will be analyzing an epic game played between Hikaru Nakamura and Boris Gelfand in the World Team Championship event 2010. This is often considered to be one of the best Immortal chess games of all time, thanks to Hikaru. So let's see why. Boris here has the white pieces and he begins with d4, going for the queen's pawn opening, knight to f6 by Hikaru, going for the Indian game, c4 by white and g6 by black, going for the king's Indian defense. Knight to c3 by white and bishop to g7 by black, going for the normal variation of the king's Indian defense. Boris here plays e4, controlling the center with his pawns. Hikaru here plays d6, providing the open diagonal for the light square bishop. White plays knight to f3 and castling by black. Bishop to e2 by white, getting ready for castling. Here black plays e5, striking the center. Now white castles on the king side and knight to c6 by black. Here white plays d5, attacking the knight, and knight moves back to e7. White plays knight to d2, trying to develop the knight from the queen side, and black plays knight to e8, b4 by white, and f5 by black. If you look at the position here, both the players here are playing attacking war, the pawns. And here white plays c5, pushing the pawn further. Hikaru here brings the knight back to f6, and white plays f3. Black plays f4, pushing the pawn into the white's territory, and knight to c4 by white. Here g5 by black and a4 by white, both players continuing with the pawn pushes, and knight to g6 by black with further ideas like h4. White here plays bishop to a3, looking to target this diagonal, and black plays rook to f7, moving away from the diagonal. With the bishop on a3 supporting the pawn at c5, white further pushes the pawn on the b file to b5. Black here goes for the first pawn capture of the game, capturing the pawn at c5. Bishop captures the pawn at c5, and here black plays h5, a5 by white and g4 by black, and here white plays b6. Black doesn't capture the pawn at b6, it plays g3, getting extremely close into the white territory, creating the pawn chain, targeting this pawn at h2, and the white king has to move to the h1 square to escape from the check. Now black plays bishop back to f8, providing this open line for the rook and targeting the white king. Now white pushes the pawn to d6, further entering the black's territory, and now white captures the pawn on b6. Here white has an option to capture the b6 pawn by its a5 pawn. However, it moves the bishop back to g1, helping out with the defense of this pawn at h2. And black plays knight to h4, and now white plays rook to e1, giving a retreating square for its bishop in case it needs to help out with the defenses of the g2 pawn. And now Hikaru plays the first epic move of the game. He captures a pawn at g2 with the knight. And in this position, white plays pawn captures on c7, targeting the queen. And this is where the magic begins. Nakamura didn't really care about his queen being captured, or white obtaining a new queen after the capture. He simply captures the rook at e1 with his knight. Well, black is giving away his queen for free, but can the pawn really capture it? Absolutely not. If you look at this position, black is going to play g2 next, and it is ably supported by the knight at e1. So it's going to deliver a checkmate in the next move. So white has to deal with this first. So white plays queen captures the knight at e1. And Nakamura still doesn't care about the position of his queen. He plays g2, delivering a check to the king. King captures the black pawn at g2. Rook to g7 by black, delivering a check. King cannot move to the h3 file because it is being controlled by the bishop. f2 or f1 either. Let's see what happens when if king does that. If the king tries to move to f1 square, then black will deliver a check with the light square bishop. And the only square available for the king right now is f2. And if the king moves to the f2 square, then black will deliver a check with this dark square bishop on c5. The only defense left now is playing knight back to e3. However, it's a sacrificial move because the pawn at f4 is a monster, and we will capture this knight to deliver the checkmate. And if the king tries to move to the f2 square, we will do the previous steps in the reverse order. First, we will deliver the check with the dark square bishop on c5. And after the knight sacrifice, we will deliver the check again. The king will be forced to move to the f1 square, and we deliver the checkmate by playing bishop. Here, the combination of both the bishops and the rook will ensure the victory for black. The king is forced to move back to h1, and here black plays bishop to h3. Well, can the black queen be captured now by the white? Again, absolutely not, because bishop is going to deliver check by playing h2 with the support of the rook, and it's the end of the game for white. Bringing the queen to f2 will not be helpful in this case at all, because now black will play bishop to c5, targeting this queen, and queen will have to move away from the f2 square to capture the bishop, thereby enabling black to deliver the checkmate. So after bishop to h3 by black, white is forced to play bishop to f1, and now black plays queen to d3. It's asking the light square bishop to capture it, but doing so will lose the game for white, and the black queen now is to capture the pawn at f3 and deliver a checkmate. Boris realizes he's in trouble, so he plays knight captures the pawn at e5, while simultaneously targeting the queen at d3 and also protecting the pawn at f3. Now black captures the bishop at f1. The question is, can white capture this queen, at least now, using the knight? The answer again is no, because if knight captures the queen, black is still going to deliver the checkmate. So white realizes it needs to eliminate this threat of the bishop. So it plays queen captures the bishop on f1. This move leaves knight hanging on c3, and black queen captures the knight on c3. With the position completely busted, white decided to save the c7 pawn. So he plays rook to c1, targeting the queen. And now queen captures the knight at g5. White finally promotes the pawn at c7 to c8, bringing the queen. And the black rook captures the queen at c8. Rook at c1 captures the rook at c8, and black plays queen to e6, targeting the rook. And it was in this position, after move 33, that Boris Gelfand resigned the game. White really cannot make too many progresses from this situation. It's a material down, giving up both the knights, and black is going to win this endgame completely. So that's the game. I hope you really enjoyed it. Nakamura had his queen in the sacrificial position 6 times. However, he had thoroughly decimated the white's defenses and going for the checkmate every move. And that was so amazing. You can share your thoughts about this epic game below. Would totally love to read it. Thank you for watching. Take care. See you.